You could drink. We drink sometimes.
I'm celebrating.
Got more.
Woo!
Welcome to episode 2 of the MSPT Podcast presented by PokerNews. I'm Chad Holloway, joined by Kyna England, former MSPT Player of the Year herself. Kyna, thank you for joining. I know you were, I was in Cyprus, but you, while I was there, came to, back home, if you will, to the Chicagoland area and actually got to play a little bit. You made a deep run, bagged some chips in the MSPT.
Yeah, I mean, semi-deep run, I guess. But I try and make it home to Chicago like twice a year and mix in some poker when I go back to visit. Actually, my best friend from home, my best friend since I was 6, was having a huge party on that Saturday. So I'm like, oh, okay, I'll come back for the party and then I'll play this Indiana MSPT. And, the Midwest stops are where I grew up, right? Like I know all the people over there that play. I'm known around the MSPT circuits, but I'm just like, also you just see your hometown people there. So I could only go Friday. I went Friday, and bagged a lot, which was nice, when you can get a big stack in a bag, and finished 19th. So it was great seeing everybody, hanging out with some friends, seeing my family. And, that's a pretty nice property too, considering they redid a lot of that property. That's the Maristar in East Chicago, Indiana, which a lot of people watching this I'm sure are familiar with, but they really did renovate that casino and it's much nicer now than it used to be.
And we're going to talk about winners from that stop, including the main event winner. We're going to get into the tournament that just finished, literally within the last few minutes from when we started recording this, which was the MSPT at the Hollywood Casino in St. Louis. And the man who took 4th in that tournament and was already leading the MSPT Season 16 Player of the Year race, Jake Long, is going to join us straight from his hotel room, straight from that 4th place finish. So we're going to talk to him later in this episode. We're going to talk about recent winners from our between last episode and this episode, including the Colorado Poker State Championship and more. We're going to talk about Grand Falls, a look at upcoming stops. So let's just get into it. We were talking about the East Chicago stop. There was one winner down there in a side event that I was very excited to see. She's a good friend of mine, and that is Joan Sandoval. She's a Wisconsin girl, took down the $250 Ultimate Stack No Limit Hold'em. Joan it's a funny story with the MSPT. So back when I worked for the MSPT, I think it was 2018, probably my last stop with the MSPT was at Canterbury Park at the time, and we had gotten a 25K pass to, remember that the PSPC in the Bahamas, and they were giving gold passes or whatever they were called, and the MSPT got one to give away, and we were giving it away at Canterbury, and we came up with this promotion of every bullet you fired or whatever, you got an entry into a raffle, and then we randomly selected, I think it was 8 players to do like a heads up flip-a-mint, and Joan made it all the way to the final against, I think his name is Brandon Wolter, and Joan was one flip away from winning her way to the 25K PSPC, but ultimately came up one spot short.
A bummer.
So, and here's the thing, I always felt bad because she wanted to, it's a heads up table. She wanted to sit on this side, and I said, "Oh no, Joan, come sit on this side," just because we were filming it, streaming it, and I've always felt bad, so I'm always rooting for Joan, and I was happy to see her take down a side event. Also, let's see, I'm looking at some of the results. We had Mike Holm. He's like an MSPT OG, taking down the $300 Ultimate Stack for over $11,000. Frank, I'm going to butcher this name, Swersinski, took down a monster stack. Did you play any of the side events when you were there, before or after
on
the main?
Sunday, I late regged into the $200 event because I busted. It was 5. I didn't want to drive home yet, so I had dinner, and then Josh Reichard, of course, was like, "I'm playing this $200. The table's really fun." So I went. I lasted about a whole 20 minutes. And then went and played Buffalo and played some slots. I didn't try very hard because, once you bust from the main, you bust from a big tournament, it's kind of I don't have it in me anymore to grind and be no, I'm going to win a $200 tournament. Plus my flight the next day was at 6 a.m. So I mostly just played to hang out with Josh and the fun table.
Yeah, I know the main event there, it ended up attracting, let's see, 534 entries, over $500,000 in the prize pool. This was the season 16 Indiana Poker State Championship, and it was won by a gentleman I'm very familiar with. I think you are too. He's been around the MSPT for a long time, talking about John Kurfman, perhaps better known as Farmboy.
Yeah, I don't even know his real
taking
name.
it down for 90K.
I wouldn't even know his real name at
I know,
all. Like, I just know him by Farmboy. If I look at like a chip count list, it needs to say Farmboy, or I'm not going to realize it's him.
Yeah, he took it down for 90K. And Mike Holm, who I just mentioned, was actually at that final table too, finished in sixth place for $20,000. I was rooting for you, kind of. I'm not gonna obviously, but I was glued to the updates, just refreshing, getting an occasional text from you and stuff. And I even told you, I got a good feeling this is going to be your tournament, but. It was still fun, right?
Yeah, I made a good run considering. I had some really cold cards, I think, and then I got a table change, and I get my very first hand, I get jacks, and I'm like, oh yay! And I open, and some guy jams from the big blind. He had 2.5 blinds less than me, and so I call in. He has ace jack, and there's an ace right there. So I was down to 2.5 big blinds, and I was under the gun, and I somehow tripled and then doubled again, and I was just right back in it. So you know what? Your heart gives up. You're like, oh, okay, I'm gonna be out. But then I made it 20 people further. So it was a fun time, and like I said, lots of good people to hang out with and talk to. Talking shit with Jake and Farmboy is always really fun.
Well, some good news as it applies to you is in between the first episode and this one, we did get some clarification from the MSPT about the gold cards. If you remember in the first episode, we were wondering if they would be retroactively applied, and indeed they are. Any MSPT Hall of Famer or former Player of the Year like yourself has a gold card.
Yeah, I do. I should have got. Hold on, let me go get it.
You actually got it. I didn't know that part. This will be interesting. So the gold cards were introduced by the MSPT recently, and any tournament with a $200 buy-in or more, if you win it, you get a gold card, and it starts with, I think, we'll find out here in a minute with Kyna. I don't know if it starts with the ace of spades or the deuce of spades. I think it's the deuce of spades. You get your first one, and then if you win another one, you get the three of spades, four of spades, five of spades, so on and so forth. And Farmboy, who we just mentioned, is actually the first person to claim 2 gold cards. He had won a side event at the Iowa Stop about a month ago, and then won, of course, this main event. So he was the first to 2 gold cards. All right, Kyna, what do you got?
Okay,
Let's see
so mine says Player of the Year. Can you see that? 2021 Player of the Year. Mm-hmm. And then it says Major Series of Poker on the back and everything. And Jeremy gave it to me the stand. He's like, put it in the stand. It looks better on the stand. So it comes with a little stand so I can put it on my trophy case.
That is pretty sweet. I was 2 spots away from getting one of those ladies, but
you can do it still.
Got busted by Jake Long, who we're going to talk with here in a minute. Before we do, let's wrap up the tournament that is happening now. I'm refreshing the updates because literally this is just ended as we're recording this. I'm talking about the MSPT Hollywood Casino St. Louis, $1,110 buy-in, 676 runners. Jake Long ended up finishing in 4th place for almost $44,000, but maybe even more importantly, 1,300 Player of the Year points. Puts him at 6,931 points. So he was already atop the leaderboard, adds to it. But interesting enough, Umut Ozturk, the back-to-back reigning Player of the Year, was in 2nd place. Well, he finished this tournament in 5th place for 1,200 points. So Jake only made up, pulled ahead by 100 points in terms of Umut. And I don't know, this seems like it's going to be a tight race going down to the wire. Don't you think?
I mean, he's got Josh on his butt too. Josh has not made super deep runs, but he's getting all these mid-place cashes, so he's keeping up, and Josh is certainly capable of just winning a whole nother one. And it's crazy too because we're only halfway through the year, and there has been so many MSPTs already. Man, I remember when I won Player of the Year, I think there were only 20 events total, not even. I think maybe less than that. There weren't. But it's exciting to see one somewhere almost every weekend. So,
yeah, it is. And this one was won by, I don't know how to say his last name, Robert Noce? Noce? N-O-C-E.
Oh, I wish there was an I in there because then it could be Noce.
Right. That's what I was thinking, but I'm gonna just go with
Let's call him
Noce.
Noce anyway. Yeah.
Yeah, but took it down for $131,000. He is a Missouri native. He said it's only the second tournament he's played all year, and he's essentially tripled his Hendon mob with this victory.
That's
So
sick.
defeated Jared Moheski heads up, and yeah, I mean that's one of the great things about these MSPTs, right? Is a lot of the players are recreational players who might only play at their local casino twice a year. And if they do strike it big and hit a six-figure score, like it could literally be tripling their previous scores, just like the
And
champion
that's
here.
kind of crazy too, because I looked earlier in the day and first place was 131,000. So he didn't take a chop. They just went for the win. And, to have your head and mob be tripled and be like, no, let's just play for it. I don't know if deals were discussed or whatever. We weren't there, but straight up win. Nice job, guy.
Yeah, congratulations to him. And as I mentioned, Jake Long finished that tournament in fourth place. We had a whole segment devoted to him even before this tournament. We were going to talk about how he's leading the Player of the Year race, and we got to get him on. We got to talk to him about this. And then of course he goes and finishes in fourth. So just the great timing. He texted us. He said, "I'm gonna go get paid out, go get his $44,000. He headed up to his hotel room and was ready for an interview with you and I, Kyna. So
Yeah, we waited up for you,
yeah.
Jake. It is late here. I mean, it is late here in Vegas, and it is later in Wisconsin, where Chad is. So,
Jake, you're literally joining us minutes after you just finished fourth in the MSPT at the Hollywood Casino in St. Louis, man. Most people would probably maybe be like, you know what? Nah, I'm tilted. But you're like, hell no, let's do this thing. So welcome to the show.
Thank you very much. No, it was a fun run. Obviously, I got lucky in some spots and unlucky in some spots and lost a flip at the end and whatever. Feel like I got outplayed by a guy that made a great play when there was 5 left where I could have maybe had a chance to win the tournament, but I made a big fold and he showed me a bluff.
That happens, and it's a great run. You've been having a great season. I mean, when you were the one who eliminated me when we were in the final table at the Riverside, MSPT Riverside, I guess a month ago or so. But like, you're just always going deep. We were going to record this, I think, a week ago when you were at the MSPT, wherever it was before. Like, kind of, he's just crushing it.
Yeah, it feels like we're chasing you around here to get you to talk to us a little bit, Jake. Even though I see you all the time, I feel like.
Well, Chad had to go to Cyprus or whatever, so he at home. But yeah, no, I'm playing for sure a really big schedule. Me and Josh have some side bets and stuff, as you guys know. I think that's what you want to talk about or whatever. And we're both having a really fun time and it's going well in the last month or so.
Tell us about the side bets.
So what exactly do you want to know?
I know, Josh. Every time I see you and Josh at a stop, you guys are gambling. You guys love to play Laden. What is it, Laden says? And that's always really fun to play with you guys. Laden thinks.
That reminds me, actually, we have questions for each one of you for the show.
Did you make bets on these? Okay.
We already have the bet set up. Hopefully I can.
Go ahead and ask.
I remember what Chad's was, okay? Okay, so we bet on what you're going to say to this answer. The day you die, what will you be ranked on the all-time Wisconsin Hendon mob list for total cash?
And on the day that I die?
Yeah. But so if you win one the day before you die and it's not on there, it doesn't count.
They always think about everything with these questions.
I would probably say, like, I don't know. I'll say 150th.
150th? Okay. I think I won that one. We said Josh set. I think Josh set the line. I'd have to look, but I think Josh set the line at 20th, and I did, and he said better. I think. I don't think you looked at it that close because you're already like above that. I think.
Well, yeah, but by the time I die, a lot of people will.
Other people
catch.
You.
I don't.
You were assuming that you were gonna do better.
No, I don't. I don't play as nearly as much as I used to.
Okay.
So
that's fair.
You guys are literally playing every weekend, every tournament. You guys have played more in the month of August than I will play all year. So to put it in perspective, so
I'm literally like on my rookie season in MSPT, and that's why I did these side bets with Josh, because I wanted to be like, all right, I'm gonna go hard for 1 year and just see how it goes, and like actually be forced to try my best and see what happens. And some of the rule changes like mid-season made it where we even had to go harder, because then the small events started counting for points. So now we're here for every stop and stuff, so it's fun.
So what is the bets that you have with Josh? Are you able to share, like, some of the specifics?
Okay. It takes a little bit to explain it, but basically the way it went was we bet the first bet. I reached out to him in like December and I said, I want to make a bet with you on MSPT Player of the Year points. And he's like, I'll do it, but you got to bet at least 5K. And I was like, all right. And he said, I'll give you 3-to-1 odds. My 5K against his 15K on Player of the Year, most points wins, with a 50% multiplier.
Wow.
If one of them wins Player of the Year outright.
Wow. So he gave you 3-to-1 on him beating you.
Yeah. But it gets more complicated because then as the season went on, he was just having like a rough start, not cashing on anything. He had like 50 points, and it was actually in St. Louis the first time after we were done. He had 50 points, and I had like a little under 1,500. And I said, let's do another bet. Start it fresh at 0, and I'll give you better odds. And it was my 5K against his 7,500. From there on, with that same 1,500, or with that same 1.5x multiplier, with the caveat that if he played more tournaments than me, then it would be 5K against 15,000 instead of 5K against 7,500. So you see why it gets kind of confusing? And then as soon as we did that, we made that bet. They came out with the rule change where they added in majors that had more points in them, and they changed it where all the side events were counted for points, whereas before it was only the mains, and then like if they have like a 2-day multi-flight, like a bigger event or whatever, like they have at Running Aces, they would give some points for that.
So wait,
but now if you play a $250 event, they had 2 of them today, you can get 200 points for that.
If you actually win it, how much does he owe you?
Well, so we did that bet, and then when we were in Vegas, right before he won the Venetian event, he was still dust. He had like 900 points, and I was like 5th in the leaderboard or whatever. We made another bet where I gave him 10-to-1 odds on 1,000 that he would win Player of the Year, and he gave me 6-to-1 to win Player of the Year. So those are the 3 bets. And I think the most that he can win for me is 26K, and the most that I can win from him is like 52K.
Oh, okay.
But it probably won't be that big, It would have to be really. Either he would have to win Player of the Year outright, or I would have to win Player of the Year outright and beat him by 1,500 points.
Okay.
Well,
but I'm up by 500 right now, so I probably will.
I was going to say, after your 4th place finish here, it looks like you are extending your lead on top, 6,931 points. The reigning back-to-back Player of the Year, Umut Ozturk, was actually at this final table as well. He's 2nd place with 6,167 points. Josh is in 4th place with 4,455. So you got, 2,500 point lead on Josh right now. But we all know Josh, like, you can never count him out.
He's the best player in the MSPT. I'm pretty sure it's widely accepted by not only me, but everyone who's on the top. Umut, talk to Richie Alsop, talk to DJ Buckley, talk to anybody. Everybody thinks he's the best, and no matter who wins Player of the Year this year on the MSPT, we all know he's still the Player of the Year as a poker player, with his millionaire maker, with his $10,000 at the Seminole Hard Rock.
All right, that's
the big
enough
tournament.
about Josh. All right, this is not the Josh show.
We got to give the guy.
Yeah. Josh is cool. He's great. You're our guest this week.
he's probably the best player in the Midwest. When it comes to no limit hold'em.
I'm looking over your results for season 16. You have a dozen cashes. You have 3 final table appearances now, and I'm sorry, 2 final table appearances. But let's see, you had 4th just today at the Hollywood Casino in St. Louis, the runner-up finish at the Iowa Poker State Championship when I took 3rd for almost $95,000. You had an 11th place finish at the Venetian, the Poker Bowl back in February. A dozen cashes already, and we still got a quarter or a third of the year to go. Are you going to be at all the upcoming stops? Is that the plan?
I'm going to play as much as I can for sure. And I think Josh is, and not only Josh, but Uma's going to play almost everything. DJ is going to play almost everything. Anthony Scarborough's in there. I know he has to miss a couple of them down the stretch. But I'm planning on playing everything, except I know I can't play the Potawatomi main, which is obviously a huge one. And probably, I think in my estimation, the 3rd biggest one left besides the 2 majors, which are Firekeepers the week after that in October, and then the following week after that is the Canada one.
Canada. That'll be fun.
At the playground in or whatever. So I've never been to Canada, so I'll go to Canada. We'll see what's up in Canada. I saw they always have big bad beat jackpots at that place. Like, it must be really hard to hit, and they must have a lot of cash game action.
Yeah, seems like it's a good addition for the schedule. Something a little international. I'll take a look at it and see if timing works out.
Yeah, I'll tell you one thing. Just in general, though, I love the MSPT. Like, I've been always trying to like twist my own arm and say I got to play 6 of these this year. They're great, but I would always be like, and then something came up or whatever, and I'd play like 2 or 3. And then once me and Josh made this bet and I forced myself where I'm going to play like something crazy, like 20 stops this year, like just the people that run it, Jeremy, the tournament director, some of these other, everybody, they're just great. They're professional, but they're fun. They have a sense of humor, but you know what I mean? Like, the dealers are great. The dealers that travel along with them are good dealers, obviously the money's great. Like, what is there another traveling tour where you can buy in for $1,100 and get 6-figure payouts pretty much guaranteed every week of the year? Not that I know of.
Well, it's been exciting, to see you have this success, and we're definitely going to keep track of you down the stretch. This is we'll let you get back to enjoying your 4th place finish here. I know you got some chips there. You got to probably go cash in, but Jake, we thank you for taking the time to chat with us, and good luck for your quest of MSPT Season 16 Player of the Year.
Hey, thanks, but I still got to ask Kyna our Lonnie question now.
Well, did you remember it?
I remember now. Okay, Kyna, how much money will it take for you to never play poker again?
Gosh. That's a hard one. I don't know. Like, to win, how much would I have to win? Like, right, like in one sitting?
Oh, we just gotta hand it to you, the suitcase right now. No tax, cash money. But the stipulation is you never get to play poker, not at your family Christmas, nothing.
Oh. Okay, I'm gonna say $2 million.
All right. I think Josh won that one. I set the line at $500,000. I think he took over.
Oh man. I mean, life is too long, right? Like, I mean, I don't know. $500,000 is good, right? But I love poker.
We took projected winnings times 250,000, and that's where we came up with that.
Oh,
number.
Okay. Well,
I'm just joking.
Fuck you then.
Hey, and also, Chad, I just want to tell you thanks for having me on, and I thought you played really well on that final table. Sorry I sucked out on you.
It happens. It was fun. I appreciate it, and hopefully it won't be the last time we meet.
When you had the chip lead, you put me in a spot when I flopped top pair, and you had that open ender. That was a good ICM play that you made, and I had the guts to call that time, but apparently I didn't today. So,
well, I'll see you in a couple weeks here in Vegas then too.
Yeah, okay, sounds good.
All right, thanks, Jake.
Yeah, thanks, Jake.
All right. Thanks a lot. Have a good one. Bye.
Thank you, Jake Long, for taking the time to chat with Kyna. And I'm sure we're going to be talking about him a lot on this podcast. Kyna, like he's just every tournament he's going to.
Yeah, I mean, he's maybe gonna surpass the Josh Reichard mentions because God, I'm sick of talking about Josh.
Well, we can talk about somebody else that I think we'll mention quite a bit as this podcast progresses, because he is a crusher in the St. Louis scene, and that is Jeff Copeland. He actually won this event, the Hollywood Casino, back in December for his first MSPT title, $85,000. He won a side event at this stop, took down the seniors event, which is 50 plus, 325 runners in the $300 buy-in tournament, wins it for $18,000. Jeff Copeland's just a name. Like, if somebody were to ask, you know, how we say, like, who's the best player in Wisconsin? Josh Reichard. If somebody asked me who the best player is in St. Louis, Jeff Copeland's name would be in that conversation.
Yeah, I hadn't met him before, but I met him in Indiana, and he was at the fun table when we were playing that tournament, just pounding beers. I didn't know he was that old, though. I didn't know he was a senior, but now that I think about it, he was carrying around a seat cushion with him, so explains it a little.
That is funny. Some other side events that took place at the Hollywood St. Louis. They had a tag team event, $400 buy-in, 325 entries in that one. Nathan Jones and Matthew Preston took it down for $12,000. You had Braden Smiley, Joseph Brunette, Aaron McIntosh, Trey Bartlett, Matt Savilli, all taking down side event titles and claiming gold cards. So congratulations to all of those folks. We got to talk about, this was a while back now, I think at the beginning of August, but it was taking place as we were recording the first episode, so we didn't know who won the MSPT Season 16 Colorado Poker State Championship. I think we could recap some of the side events, but in the main event, 875 runners was won by Antonio Vargas for $141,000. Did do a heads-up deal with Zach Whitney, who took $120K. Rich Dixon, a local grinder there, third place for $73,000. Colorado, I haven't been there. I don't think I've been there since I've worked for the MSPT, but it was always one of my favorite stops. You've been there, right?
Once,
I think we've talked about it before.
I sent you my bathtub money picture, I think, last time, right?
Right.
It's funny whenever my phone reminds me of that picture. It must know that I like that picture because it reminds me all the time. But it brings back good memories. It's such a cute little town, like with a bunch of casinos. Walking around, you're in the mountains. The air is so fresh and crisp. Check it out if you haven't yet.
It is. I've been there. I used to go, I think, twice a year for the MSPT. Yeah. Once during the kind of the colder weather, so there's been snow and stuff, and then once during the spring. But it's just such a unique place. I highly recommend it as well. And then there's another place that I like. I didn't get there. I'd hoped to because it is within driving distance of me. But it is the Grand Falls, which is in Larchwood, Iowa, which is literally a quarter of a mile over the border from South Dakota, Sioux Falls, South Dakota. So to me, it's always the Sioux Falls stop. But have you been to Grand Falls before?
Yeah, that's the first one I went to. I think we talked, I don't know if we talked about this already, but it was in 2021, the year that I got Play of the Year. It was in January. It was the first time it was there. I drove by myself because none of my friends wanted to go. 8 hours. I got 27th place, then drove home 8 hours immediately after. Actually, I think I did better than that. I don't remember, but it was like in the teens or in the 20s, and that started my year though for Player of the Year. So that's the only time I've been there. That was a smaller casino, kind of hard to get to, but
yeah, it is on the smaller side, but it is a lot of fun. It's the sister property too to Riverside.
Oh, okay.
So when the one that I finished third in recently, it's a bigger one, but they're sister properties. And this tournament, $1,110 buy-in, main event, 368 runners. It was won by South Dakota's Siphonh Tran for almost $80,000. And then Umut Ozturk, who we mentioned and talked about with Jake Long, ended up finishing in third place for almost $36,000. So, Umut, he's the back-to-back Player of the Year. Season 15, Season 14, 2014, 2023, and he's in contention for the hat trick 3 in a row. I just think it's crazy.
Yeah, would love to see him do it again, but it seems like there's a big competition this year since there's so many more events. I feel like this is the year where it's got to be exponentially larger than every other year because it seems like there's one going on every weekend, and he's after it. He's there at all of them. I didn't see him. I think he only came the last day for the Indiana. He played the last flight, and I don't think he bagged, but he was around. I heard about it.
It's funny because I believe after he won back to back, I chatted with him or did an interview or something and asked him like, "Are you gonna try to make it 3 in a row?" And he said no. Like he's like, "No, I'm tired. I want to spend more time with family, that sort of thing." But then I think he had some success early, and now is probably like, you know what? I kind of got to. You know, I got to give it a go. And he at the Riverside about a month ago when I finished third, he played day 1A and bagged. And then just flew back to Minnesota, got to spend Friday and Saturday with the family, and then came back to play the day 2. And, you know, I don't know. I like it. He's got a recipe. It's working. I want to know his style. I want to know Jake Long's style. I guess I know Jake's. I got to play with him at that final table. Drink lots of beers.
Yeah.
That's the key to these things.
I played with him at the Venetian, I think, earlier in the year, too. He got, like, 11th, and I got 10th. I didn't know him as well then, but... you know, it was still fun to play with, yeah. A little on the tighter side then, but maybe it was just the situation.
Yeah, it could be. I would not be surprised to see Jake Long, Umut Ozturk, both at another final table, just like they did here in St. Louis. And they've got plenty of opportunities. If we pull up the schedule at what's coming up, so we are recording this right after the Hollywood Casino St. Louis. They're going to go to Jack's Cleveland Casino after this for a $750,000 guarantee. Then immediately after that are going to Saquon Casino in San Diego, California. Then they actually are going to slow down for 2 weeks before they're in your neck of the woods, kind of at the Venetian for the Nevada Poker State Championship.
We love our MSPTs out here. I'll be there.
Am I going to be in Vegas at that time? I've got a couple Vegas trips planned, and I don't know. I'd have to look. But if it is, I'll definitely jump in that one. But then I know one I'm going to play because right after that, the beginning of October, they are coming to Wisconsin, to Milwaukee, Potawatomi Casino, $1 million guaranteed tournament, the Wisconsin Poker State Championship. Not gonna lie, kind of like if I had to pick a tournament on my resume that I'd like to win, the Wisconsin Poker State Championship would be on there.
I would like to win that one too, I think. Yeah, I'd love to be the Minnesota State Champion and the Wisconsin State Champion.
Any chance we see you there? Because the last time they were there, you and I were there in person. We both bagged decent stacks, I think, on day 1A. That was a lot of fun.
I know. I wish I could go, but like they seem to put all the good stuff, the firekeepers and the Potawatomi, just right around when everyone needs their taxes done. So we're going to be probably too busy. I don't think I can get all the way to Wisconsin, but I will try and make it for one of the days in here in Vegas and then maybe hit one up at the end of the year.
Now, some people might be wondering, like, isn't tax day in April? But there's like a mid-year type of thing.
Well,
right?
if you file an
like
extension, you can file a 6-month extension, and then your taxes aren't due until the 15th. Or, well, you are due to file your taxes until the 15th, I should say, of October. But you still have to pay your taxes on time, or you get charged interest and penalties. But people aren't so worried about that. So a lot of people, especially professional gamblers, they wait until later in the year, and that's okay. That's what we're here for. I love it.
Well, what you shouldn't wait on is to get your Tilted Compass hoodie or backpack because you can save 15. Is it 15% right now if they use your code?
Yes, 15% if you use code Kyna. Go check it out. There's lots of cool stuff. The backpacks are really awesome. I'm not a really big backpack gal, but I use mine for like traveling, like if I'm taking short flights. Like I'm going to go to Reno this weekend and I'm just going to like stuff in that backpack because it counts as a personal item, but it holds so much stuff. So check them out if you need a really good utility backpack. They also come with phone chargers and tracking devices too. And the way that they close is really secure so people can't get their hands in and like be taking your money out.
It's actually smart, especially for a poker player. Like there's literally a story that we reported on PokerNews about a guy in Texas who had a tournament score and people saw him and they followed him back to his hotel. And as he was waiting for the elevator, they jumped him and stole his backpack.
Yeah.
And, you know, if it was a Tilted Compass one, the right one, maybe there's like the little tracking device.
Yeah. And you know what else is really funny is I met a lady at the Lips tournament in here in Vegas a few months ago, and she had one. And she's like, oh, I really like it, but like I wish it had a strap like to clip so that I could strap it to my chair. And I think she told them about it. So I think they built that into some of their newer ones. They're like, thank you for the feedback. And they built that. And so they love poker players. They want to sell you backpacks. They want to make products that are good for you. They're really helpful. So even if you don't need a backpack or you don't want to buy anything, check out the website. They're good people. They got some good stuff on there to be aware of.
I'm gonna have to talk him into doing a MSPT podcast, maybe a hoodie or even maybe a backpack. I don't know. We need some merch though as this show continues to grow.
Yeah, podcast hoodies. Woo!
Speaking of growing the show, it took me some doing. If you watched this episode on YouTube, we do have audio only now. The first episode was delayed because I had to go through some growing pains of getting it up on Apple Podcast, getting it up on Spotify and SoundCloud, but it is available on all of those now. So please do us a favor. Go there, subscribe, but give us a review. 5 stars only, but help us grow this thing. Reviews certainly help quite a bit. And if you're watching on YouTube, again, like, subscribe, comment. I'm in the comments there, kind of. I'm trying to interact with everybody. When
I went and checked it out and commented on something. I think. Thank you guys for watching, and thank you for all the the love and the likes and the comments. And we'll try and keep doing our best to bring these out.
I've noticed that the comments in the MSPT, at least the first episode, were much more kind than the comments we used to get on the PokerNews podcast.
I couldn't even look at the ones on the PokerNews podcast. They're so mean. But we did do a lot of weird shit. Like we always say people's names wrong. We got a lot of hate for that.
It's true. And the audience that listens to this or is watching this, they're good people. The MSPT players are some of my favorites. I got to play at Riverside and got to see some of the OGs, if you will, that I got to report on, and it was great to see. But it's a new era for the MSPT. It used to be the Minnesota State Poker Tour, then the Mid-States Poker Tour. Now it's the Major Series of Poker, the Tour, and big part of that is these major stops, and 2 that are coming up back to back, October 7th through the 12th. The Spade Poker Championship. This is a major $1.5 million guarantee at Firekeepers Casino in Battle Creek, Michigan. We've talked about it before. To me, this is the hidden gem of the Midwest. This is a huge stop.
It's exciting too. To make it through that many runners, and they run hopefully they still do. I'm sure they do, but they would run satellites for that thing months in advance. So you get lots of opportunities to get in there for a discounted price if you can win a satellite and you live close, And so a lot of the local people that just like to play every once in a while would win seats, build the prize pool, and then all the crazies come in, and buy in 5, 6, 7 times, and it just becomes really massive, and it's really fun and a nice property too to stay on. So lots of nice restaurants and fun slot machines if you're into that thing.
So I'm going to be there,
okay,
but I'm not going to play.
Aww.
I'm not going to play.
Ooh.
It's a weird thing. So, I like to do these live reality games, the Survivor type things. And anyways, there's something I'm playing in Michigan that is in Kalamazoo, which is 20 minutes down the road from Firekeepers. And I'm starting that game on Sunday. I have to be there at 4 p.m. So that's day 2 if I were to make day 2. So it doesn't pay for me to actually play. But I'm like, you know what? I'm going to be in the neck of the woods. So I'm going to go there, spend a day or 2 just mingling and maybe chatting some players for this show. We'll do some some interviews on site. And I don't know. It'll be fun. I haven't been to Firekeepers in years, probably since before the pandemic.
I'm going to tell you the people to go find and get some chats from, because some of our MSPT friends and regulars.
Yeah, I definitely will. And then right after that, I just want to mention this because it is the first time the MSPT is traveling outside the United States. October 9th through the 19th is another major, the Canadian Poker Championship, $1 million guarantee at the playground in outside Montreal, Canada. This is going to be an awesome stop. I've been to the playground before. It won Poker Room of the Year at the Global Poker Awards. It's a great venue. If you're looking for a fun city, Montreal is it. It's just, if you're an MSPT player who's I like vacations, I want to check out a new city, this is definitely one to mark your calendar for. I'm excited about this one. You haven't been to Playground before,
No,
correct?
I haven't. I would love to go. We'll see if we can make it work.
Yeah, that would be awesome. And then after that, there are only 3 other stops to round out the year. They're going to MSPT will be back at Riverside Casino in Iowa. That's the one I just finished 3rd in about a month ago. So they're going to return there at the end of October into November. The middle of November, they're going to be back at Ameristar East Chicago, the one that Kyna was just at. I'm hoping to get to that one because I couldn't make it down there. As I mentioned, I was in Cyprus, so I definitely want to get down to Ameristar. And then it will wrap up at Running Aces Casino in Minnesota, the Winter Poker Classic Series in December. I would like to get there. I don't know if I will. I might be at WSOP Paradise or WPT World Championship. I don't know how the dates are working out on all that, but Running Aces is always a fun one. And yeah, surely you played at Running Aces during your Player of the Year run,
Yeah,
right?
no, it was the next year. The year I won, it was in Canterbury, and then the next year it
That's
was
right.
Running Aces, and I did go to that stop. But that's kind of weird though. Usually they end the year with Vegas again, so kind of disappointed to not see that because I would love to play the last one of the year, but then I'll have to try and make it out to Minnesota.
Well, good news for you though. They're kicking off the new year, January 1st through the 4th. The New Year's Poker
Oh,
Open at the
okay,
Venetian.
that makes
So
sense then. That's a lot of poker for me though, because I'm definitely going to that Scottsdale stop. Like that's a must go, I hear. So maybe we might make it a girls
yeah,
trip and
so
go.
I actually might make the trip out there. You're talking about the first major of the new year will be at the Diamond Poker Championship $1 million guarantee at Talking Stick Resort in Arizona. So this one's very interesting. I actually just talked about it on this week's Poker News podcast. They just finished the Arizona State Poker Championship down there. Our good friend Haley Hanna finished in fourth place for like
Yay!
I don't know
Yay,
160K.
go Haley.
And but this casino, I've been there when I lived in Vegas. Me and my dad took a day trip down to Phoenix, and I said I want to stop at Talking Stick. Was really impressed by the room. It was massive, but they have never really brought in an outside
Yeah.
tour. They've always hosted things kind of in house, and so for them to bring in the MSPT, I don't know. I'm very excited about this prospect, and I think it's going to be one of those like, hey, if there's a place we should record a live podcast, on site, this is the
All
one. I
right,
think
yeah,
coming.
I'm definitely going. I'm gonna get my ducks in a row at the end of the year to try and get out there. I've never been to Arizona for poker, so first for me too.
Ah, awesome. Well, I think that's going to do it for episode 2 of MSPT Podcast presented by Poker News. As I said, do us a favor, like, subscribe on all the podcast channels, give us that 5-star review, leave some comments on the YouTube video. We will interact with you. Check out msptpoker.com. As I mentioned, all these live stops, there will be live updates on the website that you can check out. The MSPT, you want to guess without looking kind of how much the MSPT has awarded in prize money to date?
$750 million.
Not quite. It's going to take a little while to get there.
Oh,
$220
I knew
million.
it was in like hundreds. I knew it was hundreds.
It's in nine figure territory, so not too shabby. But all right. Well, I guess that'll do it. I'm Chad Holloway, Kyna England, and as the MSPT says, and the podcast will try to be, we're going to be suited for players.